This is News 360 live from Adesawe Kanda here in Accra. Good evening and welcome. I am Ayisha Yakubu.
And I am Noble Crosby, and here are the headlines of the bulletin tonight.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal, EcoBank.
President John Dramani Mahama assures the people of Afram Plains of his government's commitment to developing the area's agricultural potential.
Also in the bulletin tonight, Roads Minister reiterated government's commitment to fixing the Techiman-Bole-Wahamle Highway under the $10 billion Big Push initiative.
Later in the bulletin, a report of hope, healthcare, and how acceptance is empowering families of children with autism and Down syndrome.
And much later in international news, Democratic Republic of Congo bans party of former President Joseph Kabila, accusing him of links to M23 rebels. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. We're live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. Please do well to like our page and leave a comment. We'll be glad to share them with the rest of the world. Welcome on board. Let's start the bulletin from here.
President John Dramani Mahama has assured the people of Afram Plains of his government's commitment to developing the area's agricultural potential. Addressing this year's Kwewu Business Forum, President Mahama noted that the government is collaborating with the African Development Bank to secure investments aimed at fully unlocking the agricultural opportunities in one of Ghana's key food baskets.
I want to thank Nana Chairman for the comments he made about the Afram Plains. And I want to assure him that Afram Plains is in our sight in terms of its agricultural potential and agro-processing. We've labeled Afram Plains a special agro-processing zone, SAPZ. And in line with the same program that the African Development Bank is pursuing, we intend to achieve substantial funding from the African Development Bank for investment in the Afram Plains, both in terms of agriculture and agro-processing. But to be able to do that, we must first put in the infrastructure. And so under the Big Push, we have put the bridge at Echiamman from under the Big Push to construct the bridge so that we can take the ferry away. And then also we've targeted the main roads in the Afram Plains area to rehabilitate them so that it can ease doing business in the area.
Meanwhile, the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, has announced plans to expand next year's Kwewu Business Forum. The forum, which has gained significant support this year, will include additional sectors and extend its reach beyond the current region.
This year's edition of the Kwewu Business Forum has been met with enthusiastic endorsement from participants who have called for its expansion to other regions across the country. The Kwewu Business Forum aims to promote entrepreneurship and support the growth of small and medium enterprises, SMEs, in Ghana. It aligns with the government's vision to strengthen the private sector, particularly in agro-processing and manufacturing. As part of a non-partisan national development initiative, the forum brings together business owners, industrialists, investors, startups, and major industry players to network, share insights, and explore ways to raise capital and leverage products offered by financial institutions.
You would agree with me that you can never sell your message enough. So every time there will be somebody new who hear the message. And so for us, for platforms like this, give us opportunity to reach more people, reach new people. And for those that have heard it, it doesn't hurt to reiterate the opportunities and the solutions we have for them. So it's a very important platform for us.
We really
cherish this kind of fora because it gives us the opportunity to meet, and you meet people who have very interesting stories. You meet people who are doing things in their own small corner, and with just a little push, they get there. We give loans on concessionary basis, so that is really a help.
The Western Regional Minister says beyond the euphoria of celebrating Easter in Kwewu, her region is open for business.
We just want to thank everybody for the support. We want to thank everybody that came around. And what we are telling the whole Ghana is that Easter is not about enjoyment alone, but it's about networking. It's about growing our businesses. It's about meeting people we have not met before. And we believe that this Easter and the Easters to come will not just be about having fun, but it is about learning, growing businesses, and having network. We are just telling everybody that we are not yet done until tomorrow and the days after. We are still here.
Chief of Staff Julius Deborah has revealed that next year's event will be even larger, with plans to scale up and extend its impact.
We've also had calls from other sectors of the economy. For example, the insurance groups. They are saying, why could you do this minus us? Don't you know that insurance companies also sometimes do extend credit facilities? So next year we're going to invite all the insurance companies. Then we also have finance houses, discount houses that were not brought in here. In fact, pension fund managers have also approached us that, look, you guys, don't you think we are the ones with enough money that could go for long haul? And so on a much larger scale, and in the thinking of the president, next year we're going to expand this. Maybe the venue that can host about 5 times what you just saw.
The president had in his speech yesterday assured that his government was committed to creating an enabling environment for businesses to thrive while tackling the issue of high cost of credit. This is part of the reason why the Kwewu Business Forum was established. And for businesses in the country, they can only hope that this pledge materializes. Michael Obodu, Kwewu Business Forum, Eastern Region.
Well, turning our attention to some human rights related stories, the Northeast Regional House of Chiefs is urging government and the 9th Parliament to expedite action on the passage of the Anti-witchcraft bill into law to criminalize witchcraft accusations and related offences. According to them, people accused of witchcraft, mostly women, were often subjected to various inhumane treatment, hence the need for a law to defend and protect such people. Now, in 2023, Ghana's 8th Parliament passed the Anti-witchcraft bill, but failed to obtain a presidential assent to become law. Now, Member of Parliament for Medina Francis Osu has relayed the bill for consideration and passage by the 9th Parliament. Let's engage with Professor John Azuma, the Executive Director of the Sana Institute. Prof, thank you for making time for us this evening. You were active in pushing for the passage of the anti-witchcraft bill that never saw the light of day. Now there's an attempt, or it has been relayed. It's a good development, but what more do we need to do?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for following on this issue. It's a very important issue for us and for our mothers and our aunties and our grandmothers who are being subjected to this kind of social menace over the decades. So we are very pleased that the bill has been relayed by Honorable Sosu, and I think what we are waiting for is for Parliament, Ghana's Parliament, to schedule a reading of the bill and for it to be voted upon. It has to be taken through the processes again, but we are very much hopeful that it's just a mere formality. This was a bill that was passed by both sides of the House unanimously, and we still believe there's a lot of goodwill in the House. And even from the Speaker himself, there's a lot of goodwill for this bill, and our hope is that the bill will be laid for reading and for voting in the House as soon as possible.
Now, there were, as we were made to believe, some powerful religious leaders and others who may not belong to religions who are against the bill. Weren't the same people frustrated this time around?
We are not oblivious to the fact that there are forces against the bill. And we are very much sure that some of those forces were behind the former president's refusal to assent to the bill. But we know that the forces that are gathered this time around the bill are more than the forces against the bill. because we have the president, we believe, who's on the side of this bill. We have the speaker who's on our side, and we have the parliament, which is on our side. So we believe that the forces this time that we have been able to put together are very favorably disposed to the bill, and they will not allow themselves for the forces against the bill to torpedo the bill again and to send the bill back into oblivion.
Right.
That is our hope. That is our prayer. But we are not just resting on hope and prayer. We are working very, very hard behind the scenes.
Prof, let's try and put some numbers to this. Aside being cultural in nature, how much of the persistence of witchcraft accusations would you attribute to economic vulnerability, especially among women in the rural communities?
Absolutely spot on. Yes, it is religious, it is cultural, it is deeply rooted in many parts of Ghanaian society, but the prevalence and the kind of barbarity of it and the brutality of it is experienced in deprived communities. And that is the fact. So economic factors are very much a part of it. And when people are poor and people don't have access to resources, they will find scapegoats. They will find someone to blame. And most of times, if people don't, their lives are not going well, it is someone they have to find to blame. They go to some religious figures who will give them some kind of opinions, and it always falls on a very vulnerable victim who cannot defend themselves. And this is what is happening mostly in the rural areas, especially in northern Ghana. We don't hear of very powerful, resourceful, well-protected women being accused of this of witchcraft,
right?
Let alone being treated the way these poor, vulnerable ones are treated. So economic background are very important factors to the spread of the witchcraft accusations.
Professor Azuma, thank you so much for your time. Professor John Azuma is the Executive Director of the Sane Institute.
Thank you.
Moving on, it is one of the deplorable road networks in the northeastern part of the country. Apart from the economic importance of road to its users, the Techiman-Bole-Wahamili Highway, also known as N12, connects Ghana to neighboring Burkina Faso and Côte d'Ivoire. With government's commitment to ensuring massive transformation of the road sector under the flagship $10 billion Big Push initiative, commuters have been expressing optimism that the road, if worked on, will boost economic activity. My colleague Christopher Marco has more in the following report.
The Techiman-Bole-Wahamili Highway, also known as the N12 Highway, is a major route linking the northwestern part of the country to the south. It also serves as a crucial link between Ghana and neighboring countries such as Burkina Faso and Côte d'Ivoire. Despite its economic importance, the poor condition of the road has become a major obstacle to the transportation of foodstuffs and other goods. For years, the road has not undergone any significant rehabilitation.
This is the only rehabilitation that goes on this road on a daily basis. These children, though without any formal training on how to keep a road in good shape, come here every day to ensure that they fetch sand and fill the potholes created on the Techiman-Bole-Wahamili stretch of the N2 road.
This has led to a rise in accidents and frequent armed robbery incidents, often occurring on a daily basis. Heavy-duty trucks that ply the route frequently suffer tie bursts or break down due to the numerous potholes along the stretch. But speaking at the 49th Gonjaland Youth Congress in Sola, Minister for Roads and Highways, Gavin Kwame Agboja, reiterated government's commitment to fixing the Techiman-Bole-Wahamili Highway under its $10 billion Big Push initiative.
Is determined to improve the road conditions of the country, including the Savannah region. To escalate infrastructure development, it came up with what we call the Big Push, and we call it the Mahama Infrastructure Plan. And this is to select specific projects that when completed can make transformational changes in the lives of our people.
According to him, government plans to shift the focus of road construction from the southern parts of the country to the north to ensure equitable distribution of road infrastructure nationwide.
We have a very good idea where the problems are. One of the things I consider as an imbalance in infrastructure is this. It appears 70% of our expenditure on road is spent in the south, especially between Greater Accra and Ashanti region alone, consume almost 70% on our road infrastructure. That is not equity in development. We shall actually rewrite that.
He stated that the shortcutting for the N12 road construction will take place by the second quarter of the year. Reacting to the announcement, Member of Parliament for Bole Bamboy and Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Yusuf Suleimana, expressed optimism that the road network in the Bole area will see significant improvement.
The agenda has just started. Indeed, that road has been a headache for not only the people of Bole, but the people residing between Techima and Hamele. All along that road, the people on this stretch of the road are all complaining. And it was a campaign promise by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Now he has directed his road minister to fix that road.
Some residents also shared their expectations.
Currently, as we speak, you won't get STC bus passing from Wa through Bole to Accra. The last time I checked, they passed through Damango to Junction over there. And you see how this will increase transportation costs. We just hope it is not just a message to soften our hearts, but something they will really work with.
This road, being in the poor state, has exposed the good people of Bole and even travelers on this particular trade to a lot of social vices like armed robbery. In fact, you could see that at the time this road was in a good shape, armed robbery wasn't on a hike. But at the moment this road was in a deplorable state, armed robbery cases heightened. In fact, instances like armed robbery attack that has happened closer to Banakonta were leading to the death of a particular lawyer. Is an example of some of these armed robbery cases we have been facing.
Once constructed, the N12 road will offer easier access to and from the southern parts of the country compared to the current Sola Fufuso Junction road.
Christopher Mwako, TV3 News, Bole.
Now, still on the roads, police personnel stationed around the Tajovu barrier in the Volta region have intercepted a consignment of ammunition. The interception was made during a routine search in the early hours of Friday, April 18 this year. A statement signed by DSP Felix Danko of the Public Affairs Unit of the Ghana Police Service in the Volta region noted that at approximately 3:30 a.m., officers stopped a Hyundai bus with registration number GR8246Q en route from Accra to Benin. A search of the vehicle uncovered 60 cartons of AAA cartridges, 15,000 rounds, and 72 cartons of BB cartridges. And I'm talking about 18,000 rounds, which had been concealed in sacks under passenger luggage. The police noted that the driver was subsequently granted police inquiry bail to continue the journey with the passengers, while the co-driver remains in custody to assist the investigations. The co-driver is expected to be arraigned before court on Tuesday, April 22 this year. The service has meanwhile reiterated its commitment to combating transnational crime.
Still in the Volta region, access to potable water has become a daily challenge for residents of Leklebi, Agbesi, a community in the Afajato South District of the Volta region, following a breakdown of all 4 boreholes that served the community. In the last 4 years, residents have been forced to draw water from unwholesome sources as the situation persists. Faisal Abdul Idrisu has more in this report.
Leklebi Agbesia is a farming community in the Afanjato South District of the Volta region, with a population of over 2,000 residents. Despite efforts in the recent past to provide sustainable supply of water to the community, residents continue to live without potable water. Water is our major problem. It gets worse when the rains stop. It is also affecting the education of our children because they would have to go in search of water in the morning for several hours before they finally make their way to school. And it is affecting their studies. So we need government to intervene and provide us a sustainable source of water. All 4 boreholes constructed in the community have broken down, exacerbating the situation.
We attempted mechanizing this one, which if you have a poly tanks, you can save some portion of the community. But we don't have poly tanks, so we are pleading for assistance of poly tanks so that we can share this one to part of the community. It will not be enough though, but at least it will save some particular part of the community.
The only source of water to residents is a nearby stream that flows down the hills.
We have 4 boreholes in the community, and now they are stopped, so we all rely on the stream we have in the community now. But when farmers spray the Yakubu, it's near to the riverside, so sometimes the chemicals run into the water. So sometimes the water have bad smells, and it makes it dangerous for us to drink. And sometimes when it rains, it brings some things like pampers and rags into the water. That's one to pollute the water for us for our drinking.
Dry season, the water dry out, and it's difficult for us to get water for our house choices. Even you can see, there is a rainy season, but still the water is not flowing as it's supposed to be, and it's not clean enough for drinking, because when cocoa sprayers spray their chemicals into their cocoa farms, sometimes it washes into the river or the stream, and it is a hazard to the community. We wrote several letters to authorities, but we couldn't get any answer. So it's difficult for us to get clean drinking water for the community. We are calling on the authorities, the benevolent communities, to come to our aid.
District Chief Executive for the area, Manfred Tewia, in an interview, admitted that the situation is a widespread crisis that confronts the entire district.
The water crisis is about Afajato. It's not only about Leklebi. Currently, a lot of workers here have to move to Hohoe because of the water problem. No, we just started, so we're actually assessing the situation at the moment. Ghana Water is around Befi there. We are just assessing the cost and everything so we can get it tapped to the districts, because that is the only sustainable means for us at the moment. The boreholes are constructed. After 3 years, they are dead. They have to reconstruct another one. You know, that cycle is not actually sustainable. So getting the Ghana Water to Afajato is the best way.
Faisal Abdulidrisu, TV3 News, Leklebi, Agbesia.
Well, as some basic needs remain unmet, the Volta regional minister is promising better days ahead as his renewed government's pledge to develop the region during an Easter community engagement across 3 districts. James Gunu reaffirmed the government's commitment to rehabilitating commercially viable road networks and advancing work on the Keta Sea Defense Project.
The Easter celebration observed by Christians commemorates the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus Christ. In parts of the Volta region, communities use the period as an opportunity to come together, take stock of their development, and chart new path forward. A delegation from the Office of the Vice President, led by the Chief of Staff, Alex Segbefia, and accompanied by the Volta Regional Minister, visited several communities. Their first stop was Alakpele in the Anglon district. Social challenges such as poor road networks and limited access to quality health care have long affected the community. Alakpele continues to suffer from the harsh impact of climate change, with part of the area frequently inundated due to the encroaching Keta Lagoon. But the Volta Regional Minister, James Gunu, assured residents of ongoing government interventions to improve the standards of living of the people.
Tajo jinamba cheap compound nyale toma afia monya hale toma.
The issue regarding the construction of the CHIPS compound is already under consideration, as is the road situation. I will liaise with the DC, the MP and the Minister for Roads and Highways to ensure that construction works on the road from the junction to the community commence in earnest. The delegation also visited Jita, a coastal community, where a deba attended by the Awomefia of the Anglo State, Togbisri, was held. Discussions at the deba featured concerns about the stored Keta Sea defense project and the urgency of completing it to protect the vulnerable coastline. Officials reaffirmed the government's commitment to addressing the tidal devastation, threatening lives and livelihoods.
We've heard about the government's involvement already with regard to ensuring that we take a very strong and positive position with regard to the sea defense that is required along the coast, not just here, but along the coast. So these are topmost priorities within the government's directions and policies. We've heard your request. We knew about your request when we came around, and they will not be forgotten.
Following stops in Keji Agota, the day's activities ended at Akachi with a homecoming ceremony that brought the community together in a festive atmosphere. Speaking at the gathering, Chief of Staff to the Vice President, Alex Segbefia, urged community members to foster unity to attract development and investment. The Easter tour of the Volta region highlighted the government's renewed focus on infrastructure and climate resilience projects. As challenges persist, from inadequate roads to climate threats, hope remains alive that sustained engagement and policy commitment will bring meaningful transformation to the region. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Volta region.
Let's now bring you some Easter-related stories. And for decades, Easter conventions have been a key feature of the Christian community in Ghana, drawing thousands together for days of worship, praise, and fellowship. But in today's fast-changing world, not every church is holding on to that tradition. So is the Easter convention still a thing? Deborah Bamensa reports.
It used to be a major event on the Christian calendar in Ghana, a time when believers packed their bags, traveled across regions and gathered in open fields and cathedrals for one thing, the Easter convention. But in today's fast-paced world of digital worship, rising costs and shifting youth interest, the question now is the Easter convention still a thing? At Petra International Church in Ghana, although the event is not held in a park or school compound, preparations are in full swing within the church premises.
It takes a lot of money for a church to go out there to organize any public outreach. So what we see on the park going on is not a chicken change. 2020 and beyond, we have realized that large gatherings are not encouraged, especially in public space. So I want to believe that probably that might also contribute to the churches not coming out to organize these Easter conventions on the park and all that.
The convention experience is not what it used to be. The long days under the sun, camping in school compounds and marathon prayers. Those are fading fast, especially with the younger generation. In some places, enthusiasm is clearly waning. Church leaders admit the convention's role is evolving and in some cases being questioned.
Those days, you see convention, billboard everywhere. People are traveling. They prefer to go to beach, demons, than to come to the church. Because pastors are breaking their heart. And 92% are disappointed. Because the self-interest pastors are more.
In the digital age, many now worship at home, tune in online, or opt for personal retreats over large group gatherings.
Whether we like it or not, social media has come to stay. And it's really doing another work
also in addition to whatever we do. So social media has its role, just as we are having service here this morning. We even have members in UK, in US, Caribbean, and other places who are watching us.
Still in parts of Ghana, the Easter Convention remains sacred and a key part of Christian life. Entire families travel together just to be part of it.
Christ mandated us to go out to preach the gospel to the whole world. So we feel that when we go out with all our sound systems, it will draw the people from far and near to come to the crusade grounds to listen to the gospel. That's why we are still going this way.
While some churches have downsized or gone digital, others still hold fast to the full experience, loud, live and lasting. From open-air gatherings to streamed services, the Easter Convention is no longer one-size-fits-all, but the celebration of faith, community and resurrection still stands. Deborah Bamens and TV3 News, Accra.
In a related development, Christians have been urged to be guided by the principles of Christ and use the commemorative event of his resurrection to have a renewed mindset to develop the nation. This was the message that dominated sermons preached at most churches in the central region to mark the Easter Sunday services as part of the Easter festivities. Correspondent has more in this report.
Some Christians observed Easter Sunday by participating in church activities. At the St. Francis de Sales Catholic Church, the Archbishop of the Cape Coast Diocese, Most Reverend Gabriel Charles Palmer Buckle, led congregants in observing the day.
Jesus Christ.
At the Wesley Methodist Church in Cape Coast, congregants sang songs of praise to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. The Bishop of the Cape Coast Diocese of the Methodist Church, Most Reverend Richardson Abwaji Andam, called for a renewal of the mind to complement the government's reset agenda and aid in the fight against illegal mining.
We must stop corruption and environmental degradation, in which we are doing galamsey to destroy our forests, to destroy our water bodies. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Jesus Christ has resurrected to tell us that we must change these ways of life so that Ghana will continue to have peace that God has given to us.
At Mori, the Church of Pentecost held an Easter convention to mark the occasion. The Nyamransan district pastor of the church, Reverend Emmanuel Ofusu Asomenin, urged Ghanaians to contribute their quota to nation building by being law-abiding and fostering a spirit of community to help develop the country.
We have to all join hands and build a nation to transform our world. We have only one land, and our mandate as Christians, God created this earth for us to manage it. Getting ourselves involved in galamsey and other things, we have to think twice.
Stay with us here on News 360. We return with some more news right after this. Down syndrome and autism can be improved by meeting their healthcare needs, including regular checkups. However, some mothers say may struggle with acceptance, potentially impacting their children's health outcomes. Ekia Adako has more in the following report.
Having been told their newborn baby has an impairment, parents tend to react with a mixture of shock and disbelief, followed by denial. This is a story of Ayisha, who has a 2-year-old son with Down syndrome.
He cannot sit. The only noise that he makes is when he's crying. He doesn't play, doesn't do anything.
Ayisha said her experience during labor likely affected her son's health, leading to these challenges.
The baby, he's almost out, but it was face presentation. When the midwife saw it, hey, I will be in. The doctor came all right, looked at me, hey, and the matron came back again and she told me, say, and she used the pump, say she wants to push the baby back. So if you look at the baby's face, you see he has some scars on his face. The baby is not going back because I was also pushing. And she asked me to use the delivering sheet and cover the baby, or else the baby might die, and close my lap. For me, what I'm seeing is from the delayance.
Regardless of this circumstance, she has boundless hope in her son. According to Ayisha, her unwavering optimism in her child's potential is a healing process for her.
The doctors made me understand that it will be okay, but with patience. So I have hope.
Just 2 weeks after delivery, Mariama noticed some defects in her newborn. She said this was overwhelming. Her daughter, Zainab, is now 22 years old. From the hospital to the traditional herbal center, Mariama intimated that she was in a state of disbelief after being told her daughter is a special needs child.
Although I refused to accept her condition, now I see her as a normal child, so I enrolled her in a regular school.
Acceptance can be a powerful tool in navigating societal stigma, allowing parents to focus on their child's strengths and needs. By embracing her daughter's unique needs, Mariama has developed resilience and confidence.
My daughter does all the house chores, and that always gives me joy. Regardless of the stigma, I know one day she will be fine.
Zainab's friend, Rochelle, is also on the autism spectrum.
She takes care of herself, she baths herself, she dresses herself, which is very impressive, even like a normal child.
Even though Rochelle's development was quite slow, she handles herself just like any other 13-year-old. Rochelle's mother, who is the executive director of the Rob Foundation, Mavis Upokwa Santowa, said that creating an inclusive environment for individuals with autism requires more resources and support services.
As a mother who has a child with Down syndrome, you are seen as a cursed person, you have offended somebody, or you have done something wrong. That is why you have a child like that. And this alone puts some kind of psychological stress on the mothers. There's a lot of work to be done. We need to talk to these mothers. We need to let them understand that it is not a case. It is not a spiritual attack. It is a medical condition.
Josephine Dawson's 40-year-old daughter, Abigail, is living with autism. Abigail's 4 children are all on the autism spectrum.
Abigail has been trained well to meet some of society's demands like any other woman.
14-year-old Nobel is Abigail's first child. He has difficulties in social interaction and communication.
Her son is the only one amongst the 4 children who cannot read or write. Noble is now the only one I am worried about.
Without knowing what will become of her daughter and 4 grandchildren with special needs when she's no more, Josephine Dawson reiterated the need for support services and financial opportunities for persons with Down syndrome.
Area. Obi omonoma our carpentry. Obi omonoma our sewing. Obi our catering.
All special needs children have special abilities, so they need more economic opportunities.
Regardless of their abilities, every individual deserves quality care and support. Health experts therefore say acceptance, love, and proper health care can make a profound difference in the lives of individuals with special needs, enabling them to thrive and live fulfilling lives. Ekia Ofriwa Dako, TV3 News, Accra.
Clearly, acceptance is very important in situations like this. But moving on, the livelihoods of some 15 cocoa farming communities in the eastern region have been enhanced with the provision of 15 portable borehole water sources. The initiative, which forms part of a collaboration between Nestle and Ecom on the Nestle Cocoa Sustainability Program, will ensure the cocoa farmers and their households have access to safe and clean water, which is essential for their well-being and the sustainability of their farming activities.
The Nestle Cocoa Plan is a sustainability program which focuses on improving the livelihoods of cocoa farmers and ensuring the long-term sustainability of cocoa production. However, most cocoa producing communities who fall within their supply value chain lack potable drinking water, which impacts negatively on the well-being of the farmers and their families. 42-year-old Felicia Odonko is a cocoa farmer who has been farming within the Edumasa community located in the eastern region.
The kids will go to fetch water, and by the time they return, they have missed school. This borehole is a lifesaver.
Her community is one to benefit from the 15 boreholes project put together by Nestle and its partner, Ecom. Traditional leaders as well as residents of the community could not contain their joy.
We are very grateful. Water is indeed life, but we also need a school.
The Nestle Cocoa Plan is a comprehensive initiative to promote sustainable cocoa farming practices and also to address various challenges within the cocoa supply chain.
In the past, we've done many water projects across our cocoa value chain. We're currently constructing some schools. We'll be commissioning some very soon in some other cocoa growing communities to support education.
We believe that the provision of this water source will reduce the menace of caliber that we have always been seeing in cocoa production.
This positive outcome of the partnership between Ecom and Nestle will go a long way to impacting many lives.
This is News 360. Let's now bring you some sports news.
Let's do some sports tonight. Prince Edu was tearing up the Ghana Premier League back in 2020 with his technical abilities. However, after a devastating injury while playing for Bechim United, his career was almost brought to an abrupt end. Eric Kwampafo chronicles the rise of the young Ghanaian attacker.
Prince Edu's path to European football stardom was anything but straightforward. Once heralded as one of Ghana's brightest talents and named among the Guardian's top 60 young footballers in 2020, his promising career nearly ended before it truly began.
It was a really difficult time in my life because I never experienced this before.
The injury occurred during the final Ghana Premier League match before Edu was scheduled to fly off for the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations. While playing for Bechim United against Berekum Chelsea, he landed awkwardly while challenging for an aerial duel. What initially seemed like a routine injury soon revealed itself to be far more serious as he missed the U tournament in Mauritania. An MRI confirmed damage to his meniscus, leading to a failed surgery attempt and a year spent at home contemplating whether his football dream had ended before it had begun. During this dark period, Edu returned to his hometown of Sampa, where he found solace and strength.
But all the same, my family, everybody was supporting me, and it was tough for me. So that's why I went to my city to stay there to relax my mind and everything. But seriously, I was not thinking about football again because going this injury for a long period like this, it's a lot of things happening to my head. And
salvation came in the form of an opportunity from Danish club Randers, who flew him to Denmark for proper surgery. Though he struggled to regain his form during his time there, this crucial intervention prevented his career from ending prematurely. After negotiations between Randers and Bechim United stalled, Edu returned to Ghana before embarking on his European journey with a move to Belarus. After spending a year at Belarus and Ukraine, Edu moved to Czech giants Victoria Pilsen in August 2024. Since joining Pilsen, Edu has been nothing short of sensational, with 8 goals in 26 appearances in the 2024-2025 season, including 3 crucial goals in the Europa League. He has quickly established himself as a key player for the Czech side.
When I came, they told me about the club records, about what they did in the previous years, and it was a really good record. And one of the biggest clubs in Czech Republic. So if you are playing here, you have to be ready for it, ready for the challenges, everything.
One of the most memorable moments in Europe for the Ghanaian came in September 2024.
This feeling was great because playing in Europa League is quite a dream come true because we have been growing watching Europa League and Champions League. So getting an opportunity to play in this stage was a great, and my first goal was against Frankfurt, and I was really happy about it. And now I score against Real Sociedad 2 again. So the feeling is great.
As Edu continues to make his mark in European football, he draws his inspiration from 2 footballing icons, Luis Suarez and Ghana's own Asamoah Gyan.
Growing up, I was lucky to watch Luis Suarez and watch Asamoah Gyan too, because he was still our legend, and he did a great job for Ghanaian national team. So I was watching his videos a lot, and Luis Suarez, because my style was like Luis Suarez. So anytime I watch him, it's still Luis Suarez. He's still playing in MLS. Yeah, it's about his scoring, about his running, and a lot. His movements in the game, off the pitch, and everything. So I always learn and watch his games, even without the ball and with the ball. And I really like how he plays, because that's why anywhere you go, you succeed there. So he was my idol when I was growing up. I like watching him.
Despite his rapid rise, he remains hungry for more. When asked about seeing other players from the 2020 list of top young talents like John Duran, Florian Wirtz, Xavi Simons, Benjamin Sesko, and Jamal Musiala playing in the Champions League, the 21-year-old expressed confidence in his own trajectory.
Working hard for that because it's my dream to play a Champions League, and I'm working hard for that. I think for the few years to come, I can see myself there for sure.
Well, the sky is definitely the limit there. And that's the sport. Entertainment news is up next.
"16 housemates, 8 gentlemen and 8 stunning ladies have been officially unveiled to compete in season 3 of the reality show Perfect Match Extra. This season promises to keep audiences glued to their screens with all the drama, betrayals, blossoming bonds and, of course, shocking evictions as they unfold in real time. Here are highlights from last night's electrifying launch.
If you were hooked on season 1 and 2, trust me, season 3 of TV3's Perfect Match Extra is going to blow your mind. This 24-hour reality experience is raising the bar, promising non-stop drama, unexpected betrayals, blossoming bonds, and heart-pounding evictions, all in real time.
What type of partner are you hoping to find in Big Mama's house?
A man who is decisive, somebody that knows exactly what they want.
Okay.
And then is able to make good decisions.
All right, we like that. Nigel,
yeah.
What's your biggest turn off?
Wow, biggest turn off. I'm very big on personal hygiene, so I think my biggest turn off will be a girl who can't properly take care of herself.
Okay, all right. Naya.
Hi, AJ.
What's the boldest thing you've ever done for love?
The boldest thing I've ever done for love is I literally emptied my account to celebrate his birthday just to make him happy.
Oh, wow.
The housemates have officially entered the Perfect Match house following Saturday night's explosive launch, looking confident, camera ready, and fully prepped for the roller coaster ahead.
Please help yourself and have a seat. Yeah. Really? Hi. You're welcome. Hi. Have a seat. Hi. Okay. I'm Tessie, and I didn't just survive this house. I owned it. My season was full of fun, vibes, and plot twists. You are not just here to connect and love. You're not here to have a perfect match, but also you are here to be remembered.
Each housemate brings a unique vibe, but they are all chasing one thing, their perfect match. Perfect Match Extra is heating up. Don't miss a second. Head over to the 24/7 live stream and witness the love stories unfold.
So drama, but healthy drama, of course.
Yes.
Well, that's your entertainment news. Let's now bring you some news outside the Ghanaian border.
The Democratic Republic of Congo has banned the party of former President Joseph Kabila, accusing him of links to the M23 rebel group, which has seized large parts of the east of the country this year. The ban comes amid reports that Kabila has returned to the country after spending 2 years in South Africa. He is said to have returned to the town of Goma, which was seized by the Rwandan-backed M23 in January. Kabila led DR Congo for 18 years after succeeding his father, Laurent, who was shot dead in 2001. The government also noted that Kabila had chosen to return to Goma, where he was being protected by the enemy. On Friday, the government accused Kabila, 53, of high treason and ordered the seizure of all his property. Al-Qaeda affiliate JNIM has said it killed 70 soldiers in raids on 2 military posts in North Benin, the biggest death count claimed by jihadists in the country in over a decade of activity in West Africa.
Well, that's our package for you tonight. There's always more news on our website, 3news.com. I am Noble Crosby Annan.
And I am Ayisha Yakubu. Have a good evening.